Hello, and welcome to EFT with Lucy. My name is Lucy, and I'm so happy you're here. Today is a really important video, and it really goes along with my mission with this channel, which is helping to equip you with tools that help you feel empowered in your life. The main tool that we talk about here is emotional freedom technique, or EFT tapping, and it's because it's a somatic tool, i.e. a body healing tool. It's not, talk therapy or anything like that, which is very helpful in many settings, but it's a body up tool, so it helps heal your hormones, like your stress hormones, your nervous system, and your emotional systems and emotional regulation to help you feel like you can tackle your life and the challenges in your life, bringing your best self so you can actually process your emotions and move forward in your life feeling like you're empowered and able to do that. It doesn't mean that we're gonna have a stress-free life, because that wouldn't be life, that's not realistic, but it means you're more resilient and you can handle the stresses in your life feeling like your best self. I think this is a really important tool to have, especially for today's topic, which is feeling overwhelmed by a challenge in your life. I'm going to talk to you about a couple metaphors that help me deal with overwhelm in my life, and then we're going to actually do a tapping session. And I really hope that you stay until the end of the video for the session, because doing the actual tapping points, a lot of the power that comes from tapping is actually tapping on the points in your body that lower your stress. Again, change your nervous system. You're literally rewriting and rewiring paths in your brain to process things differently, to respond to things differently, and you're gonna have less of an emotional response, and you're gonna be able to come up with better solutions in your life, because when we de-stress, we're able to use all of our brain's critical thinking power. But when you look at this challenge in your life and you start to get really activated and you start to go into that stress mode, which is totally normal, totally natural, it's just a coping mechanism that we have as humans, it's going to be hard to feel like you're effective in problem solving in that area of your life, because you're not able to use your full actual potential. So when we tap, we're able to bring your nervous system down, calm yourself down, regulate your emotions so that you can feel like you have the answers and you can actually tackle the problems in your life. So as we get into this topic, maybe this is a good challenge for you. Like maybe you set a goal for yourself and this is kind of a eustress type of situation, like the EU stress, like good stress, where it's like, it's a good problem to have. It's still taking your, like, not just maintenance energy, but like actively working on this thing energy. Maybe there's a part of your life that feels out of control. It's not a good stress. It's just a tough stress for you. And my heart really goes out to you if that's where you are right now. And I really want to give you a metaphor, which sounds really cheesy, but it is really true. When we think about overwhelm, what happens in our nervous system is that we have our kind of typical like rest and digest nervous system, where everything is good, we're trusting life, we're feeling like good things are able to happen in our life, we're relaxed, we can actually be in creation mode and relaxation mode, all those good things. We also have the fight or flight part of our nervous system that happens right when we perceive stress, perceive threat, perceive danger. And our body's natural reaction, which is good, is to prepare you to do the things that you need to do in order to keep yourself safe. And unfortunately, as I'm sure you've heard before, if you have been in this space at all, we have a lot of stressors in our life. We have a lot of stressors in our life in this day and age that aren't like immediately threatening to our life. It's not like a tiger is chasing us or a bear is chasing us. It's like our boss is yelling at us, our friends are mad at us, or there's some sort of conflict or something like that. Or there's just maybe some anxiety that we have with, am I working enough? Am I doing a good enough job? Like there's so many things that we can feel anxious about and feel like there's a perceived threat to something that is important to us, and not to diminish that, but we don't need that flight or fight response in order to tackle the problem. In fact, like I was saying before, that's probably gonna like impede your ability to feel like you can handle that challenge with your full capacity. So we have that fight or flight, but then we have the next part of our nervous system, which is just, what's the point? And I think that this is really important to have for conserving energy and everything like that, but it is a survival strategy and it doesn't feel very good. And so when we get into this really overwhelmed state, again, it's an indicator from our body and our nervous system that we need to chill the F out, and we need to figure out, how can I regulate my nervous system? Because the fix isn't trying to solve this problem. The fix is, how do I get myself back into a more regulated state where I can start to tackle this problem? So if you're there, my heart really goes out to you, and you're gonna feel better by the end of this video if you stick through with the tapping, because it is, like I said, it's a healing, it's a very calming and regulating modality and practice to do. I want to give you a little bit of a metaphor. Because one thing that tapping has done for me personally in my life is to have a perspective change and to feel like, even though there's a part of me that is like, I don't think this is ever going to change. It feels impossible that this could change. It feels really hard right now. So it feels like it's going to be hard forever. Tapping has really helped me bridge that gap of being like, this is never going to change, to feeling open to the possibility of it changing, and really seeing like, oh, maybe there's a reality in a world where this doesn't have to be this hard, or maybe things really do change. Even by the end of the day, things can really change, and I'm open to seeing what that might look like. So I just really hope that this video serves that purpose for you, to say you are not going to feel this way forever. You're going to get through it. And the change might be easier than you think. You're just really overwhelmed right now, and it's going to feel like nothing. It's going to help the situation. A metaphor I was thinking about this week in terms of feeling overwhelmed is, if you know me in person, you know that I work on my family's flower farm, and we're at the point of the season where we are turning over beds, which means we're like ripping out all of the plants from the summer so that we can have a fresh composted bed that we can plant seeds into that will hardy over the winter, and the seeds will start to grow in the spring. It can feel really overwhelming because as the summer has gone by, if you're someone who has ever tried to weed grass out of your garden, it is one of those, like, it's not necessarily a weed, but it's a weed in the sense that like we don't want it in our flower beds. It just takes the F over. It feels so overwhelming to look at because it does not only just take over the bed, it takes over the aisle, and it takes over the entire section of all of the beds that we have, at least the way that our farm is set up. And so I remember a couple weeks ago looking at all the grass being like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna flip like all of these beds because there's so many weeds. It feels so crazy. And a couple weeks ago, my friend and I who were working there, we were ripping out all this grass, and it's so funny because the grass was taking up this huge area of the bed, and really all we had to do was go to like the root and like the base of where it was all coming out, and we could just rip it out. And it was like way easier than I anticipated. It took way less work than I thought. And like, it was just some really great quick transformation to be like, oh my God, wow. It looked so overwhelming, but once we really actually got in there and started doing some of the work and found out where we needed to, you know, nip the problem in the bud, we're way past that stage for that. But we were able to rip it out. And so yesterday I was at the farm and I was looking at that section now with all these flipped beds, and I was like, gosh, it is so crazy how overwhelmed I was looking at those before. Just getting in, realizing, okay, this is actually really doable, and now seeing the finished result where like we've actually already planted some of the seedlings in there, it's like, oh my gosh, it actually is doable. But the perception that I had before that was not that. But all of this to say, it can feel really overwhelming until we actually start getting in there with a regulated nervous system to whatever challenge that you're experiencing. It can feel really overwhelming when you look at the challenge ahead of you, but when you start to calm your nervous system and you just tackle one thing at a time. I love the saying of a rising tide lifts all ships, because when we are in that really, when we're in that dysregulated place of like, I don't know how to do this, I'm really overwhelmed, it feels like everything you look at in your life is a problem, and it's all way too overwhelming to really look at. So when you focus on one little thing at a time, you're gonna find that this becomes more manageable to solve. Even if it's tough, I'm not saying that simple is easy, but with a regulated nervous system, things always feel easier. So let's get into the actual tapping. If you've never done EFT tapping before, it's so simple. You're just gonna tap or I tap and then repeat after me. And make sure that you drink your water, because we're moving a lot of things in our system when we're tapping, we're moving it around, and on top of the emotions and energy, and we just wanna flush it all out. So make sure you drink your water. I'm actually gonna take a sip right now. All right, starting on the side of the hand. This challenge in my life feels really overwhelming. It's even hard to get myself to sit down to look at it. It feels like this is an immovable challenge. It's gonna stay this mountain looming over me forever and ever. It feels so daunting. It feels so overwhelming that I don't even want to look at it or even start to think about an action plan about it. I feel pretty content to just like turn my back and pretend like, oh, I can't see it. But the truth is, when I pretend this, the problem is not gone. I actually really feel it in my system. I can feel the baggage of this challenge weighing in the back of my mind, in my body, in my emotions. And I don't want to live like this anymore. Even though there's a part of me that feels like this will never change. There's a part of me that feels like it's gonna feel this challenging way forever and ever. Maybe I'm gonna feel this anxiety about this challenge forever and ever. Maybe I'm even getting like a little bit of tightness in my chest, just thinking about it. But even though this is overwhelming, I'm loving and accepting myself. Even though I wish I could be stronger and not be so affected by this challenge, I'm loving and forgiving myself wholly and completely. Even though I wish I didn't have to deal with this, I wish I didn't feel so much hurt and pain from this. And I just wish that I could like snap my fingers and skip to the part where this is resolved. I'm loving and accepting myself. Even though things are really challenging right now. And maybe it's making me feel like I don't recognize myself. Maybe I'm seeing a version of me that I'm not proud of. A version of me I have never seen before. Or a version of me that I haven't seen in a long time. I'm loving, accepting, and forgiving myself. Because the truth is, I can only do the best I can with the tools that I have. And even though things feel really overwhelming, and there's a part of me that really doesn't believe things will get better, I'm giving so much love and acceptance to that part of me. And I am stating, acknowledging, hoping that I won't feel as overwhelmed by this forever. In fact, I believe that this could actually change. Either I can change how I feel about this, and or this challenge can start to resolve. I don't have to know how that's gonna happen. I just need to know that I can handle it, and I actually do have the power to influence this situation. And in fact, when I change my energy, I am already influencing this situation for the better. I don't need to take any steps about this right now. I actually just need to take a time out and reset myself and infuse myself with some empowerment and courage, maybe some energy, and maybe some rest, so that I can feel able to tackle this problem when the time is right. I'm loving, accepting, and forgiving myself, and maybe even forgiving the fact that this challenge is in front of me in the first place. All right, take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top, and let it go. All right, moving to the top of that. I'm so overwhelmed right now. I'm so overwhelmed. This is so overwhelming. It's so challenging. This challenge is so hard to deal with right now. Maybe there's a part of me that doesn't want to look at it at all. And maybe there's a part of me that is recognizing it's seeping into every part of my life right now. Maybe I'm carrying it around with me all day, every day. Even though I don't want to be carrying this around. It feels like I can't stop fixating on this problem. And as a result, I just feel more and more anxious, more and more stressed, more and more overwhelmed, and more ingrained in this belief that I'm terrible, everything's terrible. This is never gonna change. The way I feel about this is never gonna change. The way other people are acting in this situation is never gonna change. The way other people feel about this is never gonna change. I'm sure I'm right about how other people feel about this. This has been a lot to handle. It's been so much to handle. I'm acknowledging that this has been a really hard time. It's so tough to feel stressed. It's so tough to feel overwhelmed. And I'm sorry to myself that I've been feeling this way. I'm saying to myself, I'm sorry you've had to deal with this. And I love you no matter what you're experiencing. Maybe I even love you more because you've been going through a hard time. If I've been placing any expectations on how I'm responding or think I should respond to this challenge, I'm allowing myself to simply exist without these expectations right now. I'm acknowledging that I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing the best that I can given the tools that I have. When I know better, I can do better. And I also know that when I feel better, I do better. So I know that it's productive to help myself feel better right now. I'm allowing myself a break mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Maybe feeling overwhelmed is a signal from my body that I need to take a big time out. Maybe I can even feel really proud of myself that when I start to feel overwhelmed next time, I can catch it and be like, oh, time out, time out. Even though sometimes it feels like this problem will continue to grow if I take my attention off of it. I know that if I continue to put anxious, stressed energy towards it, probably not going to get or feel much better. I know that when I take a time out and reset my energy, that I can bring a better energy and bring better solutions to this challenge. I'm ready to change the lens that I've been looking at this situation. Maybe there's thoughts of this will never change, I can't do this, everyone's mad at me, fill in the blank here. I know that if I'm wearing the sunglasses of everything's a mess, that I'm gonna find a lot of evidence for that belief. And it's not to say that things aren't a mess, maybe they really are. And that really sucks. But I'm ready to change out my glasses, change the prescription, so that I can see what I need out of this situation to feel good about this challenge. And I'm ready to see what I can do to influence this challenge for the better. It's productive to figure out what do I need. It's productive to figure out what are my boundaries in this situation. The truth is, I'm probably more powerful than I think. And I probably haven't been even asking, what do I really want out of this situation? I'm not blaming myself, that's simply how being overwhelmed goes. But I really want to give myself the space to ask if I could wave my magic wand, what would be going on? And what would I be doing about it? Even if I have beliefs that that's not attainable, that's okay. I'm allowing myself to try to make the situation better. I'm allowing myself to pace myself. I'm letting it be okay to tackle one small thing at a time. That's all I can do anyways. Even if things were running smoothly and wonderfully and perfect, with rainbows and sunshine, I would would still only be doing one thing at a time. Or maybe two things at a time if I am truly a wonderful multitasker. But I don't have to be for this to resolve. The truth is, a rising tide lifts all ships. One tiny step turns into a domino effect. So I'm letting myself have a break. I'm letting myself flirt with the idea that things might turn out okay. There might be a reality in which I gain more confidence from tackling this challenge. Maybe there's a way that I find a creative solution to something I've been really searching for. Or if anything, I come out of the other end of this challenge feeling proud of myself because I did a hard thing. Even though this has been really challenging, I'm sending myself love, compassion, kindness. And I'm allowing myself to do whatever it is that I need for this situation. Maybe I need to take a step back and just give myself perspective, give myself a break, disengage, remind myself that there are other wonderful areas of my life that are nourishing and supportive. Maybe I need to ask somebody for help, because there's nothing wrong with needing help. Maybe there's one tiny but powerful action that I can take that can help me feel less overwhelmed by the end of the day. Even though this has been really hard, I'm allowing myself to feel peace and calm. Because the truth is, I can tackle this challenge without the anxiety. I can feel energetic and calm at the same time. The truth is, my feelings matter. My actions matter. Every little bit of effort I put towards this challenge does matter and does have an impact. I'm allowing myself the space to gain clarity. Maybe I can just take a deep breath in right now. Deep breath out and let some answers come to me that I need. Stay here for just a second longer. The truth is, I know what I need. I'm loving myself. And I'm allowing myself to savor the feeling of maybe feeling 10% more calm right now. I'm allowing myself to flirt with the idea that things can resolve quicker and easier than I ever imagined. I'm allowing myself to prove all of these overwhelmed thoughts wrong. I can find evidence that this is working out. And there is a solution for this challenge that I'm experiencing. And I'm trusting myself to know the next steps. Trusting myself to handle the challenge at hand. I'm loving myself, accepting myself, and I'm backing myself fully and completely. As I invite ease and peace every step of the way. All right, take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top and savor all the good new sensations you're feeling, and exhale, let it all out. Maybe you can feel some energy of peace and calm, just like savoring it and maybe like noting it so that you can feel the muscle memory. So in the future, if you start to get overwhelmed about this again, you can like think about how the calm and peace felt for you. Even if it's just 2% more calm at the beginning of this video, it means you're doing really good things. And I invite you to keep tapping if you really do feel like you're still at like a 7 out of 10. anxious or overwhelmed, because sometimes if it's a really, big issue or something that's been going on for a while, or it feels really high stakes, or just is really high stakes, you might need a little bit more time to tap. And I will say, sometimes you don't feel better tapping in the immediate moment, but you'll notice by the end of the night you feel better, or maybe by the end of whatever you're doing right now. Maybe you go for a walk, maybe you do something to, just the next thing, keep yourself moving. Maybe you take a nap and you wake up and you feel like the world is a little bit brighter, and maybe you really can tackle this challenge. Let me know how you feel at the end of this video. Your comments really do help me, know what is helpful for you and know that I'm making an impact for you, because truly that is what helps me continue to make these videos. So I do want to give you the exciting announcement that I do have one-on-one spots open right now for tapping sessions. If there is a personal transformation that you are really looking to achieve right now, or maybe you really want support with a really big challenge that's going on in your life, I know that tapping can help you, and I would love to help you with it. I have one-on-one sessions for you, either pre-recorded or live. That's going to be the absolute most effective, because I'm going to help you feel really good, really able and empowered to tackle whatever it is that you have on your plate in front of you. We're going to clear any resistance you have to it and help you feel really good as you move forward in your life, hopefully feeling more and more like yourself and feeling like whatever transformation that you're looking for is really possible. So I'm sending all the love. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, whenever, wherever you're watching this, and I will see you in my next